What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Honolulu Roar podcast. I know it's been a minute. There's some things I want to go over. We're heading into week 4. On top of that, this past stuff. Let me switch the scene over real quick so we can look at the upcoming schedule and talk about it as well. First, I want to start off with 2023. I predicted the accurate record. Some games flip flopped, but the actual overall record was correct. Um, and then this is the one for this current year. Now, I made many reasons. I made a video, during before the preseason about my thoughts on these games. And I'd never uploaded it. Uh, as you can see, week 1, I did say the Packers, I think, are the only team we'll split with in our division. I don't think the Bears at all. Definitely not seeing them. And the Vikings, I don't see us splitting with them. Definitely their current situation. But the Packers, week 1 loss. I'm going to talk about that. Let me skip over here real quick. Close that up. I did predict 2024 as well. I just don't have that screenshot. I'm on hopefully a 3 streak here. All right, let's go to week 1. So Green Bay, people I think overreacted. A lot of, Lions don't. The starters don't play preseason, so they're heading into a Lambeau with a good defense, facing a good defense. Away game, and granted, they were undefeated away last year. I get it, but like I said with the splitting, I still had them winning. I didn't put in the perspective that they had new coordinators on top of all the variables. They still played bad. They couldn't get the run going. Green Bay just gave us L. It is what it is. I'm almost positive. I think we play them on Thanksgiving that we're gonna whoop their butts. And unfortunately, they're coming up with the same issues the Lions were having last season, where they're getting a bunch of injuries. Luckily, the Lions haven't had to worry about that too much. So week 2, I had a feeling we were gonna whoop the Bears. I just did not think 52-21. But I think it was a very good statement game that Dan Campbell showed. He's the reason for the Lions overcoming everything, not the coordinators. I really didn't like Aaron Glenn. And I think Shepard's doing a way better job already. On to game 3, or week 3. Baltimore Ravens. I had made posts about take the Lions money line. I had this gut feeling 2 years ago that 2023, I already closed the image, but I had them beating the Chiefs. They were coming off the 9-8 season. And week opening Thursday night against the Chiefs, I put $300 on the Lions money line, 1-900. I had the same gut feeling about this Baltimore matchup. I know we hadn't beat them since 2005, and it's Baltimore Ravens, and it was away. But something was like, this is a different team. When we played them last time, they beat us by 2. We're a better team than then. I just had the feeling. It was kind of a statement after all the talk about coordinators and the Lions, windows closed, all this stuff. And to be honest, the 38-30 doesn't really – hold on, my cat's jumping up here. Doesn't really display what really happened. They got that junk touchdown at the end that made it an 8-point game. But really, Lions BTA, Going into week 4 – or 5, sorry about that. I'm getting a phone call. Week 4, the Browns. Now, they come off beating the Packers. They have a really good defense. I do not worry at all. We're coming back to Ford Field after a Baltimore Ravens win. It is a short week. I watched that Cleveland game, and Browns they couldn't get any offense going. Their defense, maybe they get enough pressure on Jared Goff and he turns over the ball. But I still don't think it's enough to overcome how strong and powerful the Lions' offense is. Like, our defense lacks a little bit. The D-line showed great against Baltimore Ravens with 7 sacks. But I don't think the defense will be enough to overcome our defense and the offense. So I think the Lions are going to win this one. Their spread is a 10-point spread, I believe, on DraftKings. And I would take it. I think the Lions are just going to BTA, which I think lays another statement to, the Packers lost to the Browns but beat the Lions. Well, the Lions didn't lose to the Browns, spanked the Baltimore Ravens and the Browns. because believe the Packers play the Ravens this year, and I don't think the Packers are going to beat the Ravens. Hopefully, Derrick Henry is holding the ball by then better, but a lot of things have changed since I made those predictions. We go into Cincinnati, no Joe Burrow. The Vikings had their way with the Bengals. I think the Lions are going to be just fine. That defense lacks. Now their quarterback is out until like mid-December, possibly at the earliest return. So I'm not even going to talk about that game. It's a 4 o'clock American game of the week. I don't think the Bengals pulled it off though. It's the Lions. Kansas City Chiefs, 8 o'clock. I believe Rice is still suspended this week. Worthy's coming back week 4. And we're at the Chiefs. Now, my thing with this, I have us winning. I can see the Chiefs beating us, and Jared Goff has had Mahomes' number for a while. He's the only quarterback that Mahomes has not beat yet. And one of the only quarterbacks. I think he's the only quarterback. So I can see this being like, his game to like finally beat the Lions. I don't see it. I think the Lions take this W and move on to the Bucs. Now the Bucs, I had this as a win, but how they're playing recently this year, they're playing with like some vengeance. So I might change this one to one of the losses now that Ravens took the loss. But 7 p.m. Monday night, Jared Goff is insane Monday nights. It's going to be a really good game. And it's leading into the bye week. So hopefully, they take that win, go on the bye. It's going to be a real good game. I can see Buccaneers. I can see it swinging either way. I can see the Buccaneers taking it. I still have the Lions winning. I had their record 14-3 for a reason. Week 9, Minnesota Vikings, Ford Field, the first matchup with McCarthy if he's healthy. And I'm actually going to be at that game. That should be a win. Definitely if the Vikings continue to play how they're playing offensively. I know their defense showed up, but I don't think it's enough to take down the Lions in Ford Field. Like I said, I think the Packers are the only one that split. I think they go 5-1 in the division this season, but who knows? Commanders, how they're standing right now, they look 180 from last year, and coming from losing in the divisional round to the Commanders. I think this is the get back game. We are at Washington. Maybe by then the Commanders have it back together. It is a mobile QB, but after seeing the Baltimore Ravens and containing Lamar Jackson, I'm not worried about, the Commanders at all. That being said, I think the Lions take it. It might be a close one. Come down to a field goal. We'll see how that game goes. Philly, I think this is a loss. It's a Sunday night game. Philly hasn't been playing too strong, but after seeing the Rams come back, I think they were down 21 points. The Rams are a good team. I see being at Philly, the Lions lose respectfully and move on. The next week, New York Giants. I swear they lose to the Giants. Russ isn't playing now, so it won't be too embarrassing. And who knows how Dart plays. He starts this week 4. So I won't say too much on that. They got some good receivers out there, defense, okay. But moving on to Green Bay, get back, show them who runs the North. I think by this time, if the Lions don't have the North already, this is where it'll be taken by the Lions. Be a good Thanksgiving game. And then week 14, Dallas Cowboys. If they lose a Thursday night game to the Dallas Cowboys after what the Bears just did to them, I'll be disappointed. Definitely at the end of the season, going towards the postseason, and you lose that game, I'll be disappointed. I take the Lions. Rams, I can see this being a loss. Game of the week. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I got a text about my daughter. The Rams could easily take this. I'm going to go, I believe I went with the Rams beating us. because once again we've beaten the Rams the last few matchups, and this could be the Rams wild card chase if everything's going right with the Lions. I think the Rams steal it. Next week is the Steelers. I think we overbear them with our offense enough to squeak past. Their defense is, I think, better, but Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's an old man, and don't pick that guy in fantasy. Minnesota Vikings, Christmas. I think they might, if their offense starts turning up, this might be a game just like I was saying with the Rams. Might be a wild card chase. Could go either way. I still think the Lions squeak it out on Christmas. And ending with the Bears, I hate the Bears. I will never pick the Bears to beat us. I give them a low respect because of Ben Johnson and what he did for the Lions, but I'll never pick the Bears. With that being said, those are my takes on each game. Nobody likes the Bears. Nobody. Bears fans don't even like the Bears. But that is just a quick video rundown of what I think. I think the Lions, I was one of the ones that said they should go out for an edge rusher. And I was really disappointed when Zadarius Smith, went to the Eagles. Definitely the Eagles being, one of our hardest competitions or competitors in the NFC. And he ended up getting a sack. But Muhammad, definitely that Baltimore game, I think he got 3 sacks. He's been killing it. He's got a knee injury this week. They haven't said if he's playing yet. But if he keeps that up, I think we'll be just fine with him and Hutch. Lee McNeil comes back, I think, in December, if not late November. Terran Arnold has just been told that he's getting less reps, which, I like the kid, but Amik Robertson, I think, earned the respect last season, locking down Jefferson like he did. He's always been great for the Raiders, so I really like the Reed and Robertson, duo back there with Kirby and Brian Branch. I think that's going to be a huge impact towards the end of the season, chasing the playoffs. Now, I don't think the Lions get first seed, which I'm kind of rocking with it. Obviously, I want home games as much as possible, but I think the first seed kind of killed the momentum last year. Definitely with having that early bye and they went as far as they did. I think taking that break, turned the motors down. But obviously, I would always take first seed and home field advantage if asked. I'm okay with it if not. And they play better on the road, honestly. They play better as underdogs, doubted, all that. People wrote them off, and they slapped the piss out of the Ravens. So, I think the Lions, out of all the years, each year I've been iffy on, is this their year? I was very hopeful and very, it could be. I think this is the year that it will be. With all said and done, I think Jared Goff makes a running for MVP again. He only has 1 turnover so far, knock on wood, because they play tomorrow against a good defense, which I can see him throwing an interception, getting pressured. Hopefully not. But that is my take for this video, and I'm going to try to upload more consistently, at least twice a week, following the game, my thoughts, and then before the next game. So subscribe, like, and I'll see you again.